Okay, so let's talk about these change moderators. Um, so the self-initiated and imposed change. I think more often than not, people feel like changes are imposed, and those imposed changes, they're hard for people to buy in. Because if something on the outside is forcing you to do it, you lose that sense of control. You lose that sense of um, knowing and understanding why it's important, why you should do it. You lose a sense of, it's not a sense of ownership. And so I think more often than not within higher education, changes are imposed, and that's hard. People resist that as compared to a self initiated change where people really like that because they feel empowered. They feel like what they're doing matters, that they've done something to help change. I think if that could be rewarded more often and that could be encouraged and recognized, I think that would go a really long way so that when imposed changes are happening, people would be less resistant to it. If people had a feeling that they can do something, they can initiate a change, or they were part of initiating a change, and they were recognized as important, when imposed changes happen, they would be less resistant, they'd be more willing to buy in. Evolutionary change, those carry a lot of energy, a lot of emotion, and people like that, so they're really willing to buy in. An example of an evolutionary change would be when a building or something is remodeled and redesigned. People like to see, oh, here's the beginning, and oh, these are the changes that happen next, and oh, look what the final product is. They like to see those tangible results of a growing change, an evolutionary change. And so when organizations change, if they attach some sort of remodeling to it, a lot of people kind of like that and they're willing to buy in, and it carries a lot of energy and emotion. As compared to revolutionary change causes many to feel uneasy, not sure. They're not sure if they want to be a part, because who knows if this revolution will succeed or not. Perfect example is the American Revolution. We had two very opposing sides, and there were people willing to buy in and to the American side, and they knew it would be costly, and they were willing to commit to the cost. But it was very scary. It caused everybody to feel uneasy, and so revolutionary change, people are very cautious about whether they're going to jump into that. Additive change. This happens quite a bit. It kind of runs along the lines of an imposed change. Often when there's an imposed change, it could be because it's additive. They're adding more responsibilities, adding more to things to do, more reports to generate, more assessments. And that feels very burdensome to people, very overwhelming. Most people don't like those additive changes. The subtractive changes, those are burdensome, but in a very different way. When we talk about subtractive changes, although people may understand downsizing and the need for it, those changes are very psychologically damaging, not only to those who lose their job, but those who are left. Those who are left go through many psychological changes that they weren't expecting. For example, I was part of a company, an organization that went bankrupt. And I was one of the last people there when the doors closed. Um, and our job after the initial wave of people being laid off, and the next wave of people being laid off, and third wave of people being laid off, and just as the organization dwindled, each time it took a big toll on everybody in many unexpected ways, and it became very uneasy. And oftentimes I felt like, why am I still here when all these people lost their jobs? Yet I had an important role. I had an important role in bringing the company to an end. So subtractive changes are just as hard and psychologically damaging, maybe more than any of the other ones. So those are my thoughts on the change moderators, and I look forward to hearing your comments.